All right, so the last issue I had, finally off streaming, just trying to figure things out. I was able to get Tesseract installed. I'm calling Tesseract from. So I've got a GD extension from Godot. Able to. Where do we have it here? There we go. On body enter. So for the simulated step, able to call, well, instantiate the connection to the OCR GD extension I've created and make a call to it passing a string. And if I wanted to, I can just return back that string, so at least I'm calling down to C++ and calling back, so that works. And then on the C++ side, I'm able to get into this process method, and I'm actually just hitting errors with Tesseract. So the library's there, it's calling the library, it's hitting methods internally, and it's failing. And I think the issue before was Leptonica, which is a library that Tesseract uses as part of its OCR work. But now I'm getting a new error, and I think it's because of how I brought in Tesseract. So I think I just need to. I think the one step, which I didn't really understand in terms of bringing in a C++ library because it's been too long, is with C++, you will have. Typically, you'll have like DLLs. So you'll have. Here we go. You'll have something like this DLL file here. And in addition to that, you do need the .h file. So I don't know. I think I need all the .h's, but I at least need this one. And so this is the interface for my code to know, like, what are the names of all the things I'm allowed to call and not call. Now, I think if this, inside this .h file, if its logic then calls others, I think you do need the other .h files potentially. Not sure. That's where I'm still a little fuzzy. But you do definitely need the DLL, which is the actual library itself. So you need the .h's so your code knows what it can call, what the names of things are. And then DLL is actually the compiled code itself that's actually going to run. So those are the two things you need. And then I think you do need some other mechanism, some other settings potentially for setting up the library. But so far it seems like that's all working. The issue I'm running into is, so sometimes with a library, you will end up with, so we go to include Tesseracts. I think this is the main folder. This and test data, I think, are the two things I really needed. I think the test data is the actual, like, I don't know if it's the training data or helper libraries or whatever that helps Tesseract. But I brought over all the DLLs and I brought over .h files. And I think it's everything from this, so the test data plus everything from this folder. So we have a bunch of .h's here, but we have this version.h.in. What is in this? So I think, excuse me, I think this is where it's failing, because this .h.in, this is like a template file, and once you run some basic logic, it'll take this template and actually generate the version.h file from it. And I think that's the issue. Like, that's one of those bits of things I had forgotten about. And so I pulled this over as is, and then I think somewhere it complained about not having the .h file. So I was like, whatever, let's just rename it to .h and it should work, right? And I think it was happy for the moment, but it papered over another error. So if I run this again now, let's run scans to see if I can build my C++ GD extension for Godot. If I run that now, it's going to fail with the same error above. Undefined reference. Undefined reference. So it's not finding even the base stuff. Undefined reference pix read. So that could be, yeah, say exactly, same errors. I thought it was going to be the same errors, but it's always good to double check. So before I go down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out this aspect of things, let me come in here, and what was it? It was version.h.in. That's the only one. So where is that? Yeah, so I pulled in all these DLLs from a built version of Tesseract that I have locally. And there we go, version.h.in. Let's delete that. And now if I rerun it, well, so yeah, I immediately got an error actually. So couldn't find the dependency. And where am I? Clicking on the wrong thing. These title bars are all black. It's confusing. Nah, I could probably change it, but not gonna do it right now. Now if I run it, I'll probably get that same error. Whatever that is that's complaining about in VS Code is what I'll get as the new error. There we go. So this is a step that I don't fully know how to do. But that's fine. Let's figure it out. So I'd done this to install some history commands I did here. I used VC package to install Leptonica from here. Okay. So if I go up a couple directories, actually if I cd, oh, it doesn't like it in this. I think I fixed this pathing. Yeah. Zoom in on that. Let's go to Tesseract. So I have the code base here. Probably don't need all of it. All right, what do we have? And, you know, actually, to make this a little more readable. So what I have locally is all of this. Now, when you install Tesseract, it does say to go look at, yeah, pre-built binaries. Yeah, it sends you down that rabbit hole. Build it from source. And then for developers, can use libtesseract API, which is what I'm doing, to build their own application. If you need bindings for other programming languages, I don't. See the wrapper section. Documentation on Tesseract is generated from source code by Deoxygen. All right, let's take a quick look at that. Okay, so these are the pages I've already gone through. But let's go look through their docs. Maybe they tell us something insightful that I missed from before. So we have an introduction. What is it? OCR library. Releases. Version 5, which is the version I have. Binaries, trained data files, different models. I'll get into that after things are actually working. So there's a bunch of different test datas. There's the best, there's the fast, I guess. Okay. Compiling and installation. Compiling and Git installation on Linux. API examples. I'd seen some of these already. And I don't even need to do the entire build. I just need to generate the .h file. I think that's the only thing that's keeping me from having this working. Because I already did a build install using mysys2. Is that what it's called? msys2. And so I already have the DLLs and everything. So yeah, and there's like DLLs and there's lib files. all these packages all gave me DLLs. I think technically lib files are better in terms of when they're loaded in and how they're handled. But I don't think I get a choice there, at least not for these libraries for the moment. But that's an optimization for later, even if that is a thing, which it probably isn't. Okay, so compiling and installation. Let's go to installation. It's available for many Linux distros, 130 languages. Experts only. Okay, let me take a look at the experts only section. Various types of training data can be found on GitHub. Well, that's not what I care. I don't care about the, again, this is the whole test data thing, which is that other piece that you need to have available. Okay, I don't care about that for the moment. Training data for obsolete versions reside in another location. Your princess is in another castle. Platforms, Raspbian, CentOS, well. Snap, Mac ports, Windows, which I think this is the process I already followed. Tesseract at UB Mannheim. So I did that. Let me see here. If I go to my program files directory, where's Tesseract? Okay, so this is the install that I did. Docs has nothing in it. Test data is just the data. Yeah, this is the stuff I need it, but it's not gonna, let me just take a peek. I need it, but it's not gonna help me in this moment. Curious what's actually in that file folder. So I get .exe, I've got the DLLs. What I don't have is any .h files, which is what I expected. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to be here, but. So this is an install that's meant for just calling it. It is interesting. So they said, what did they say? Lib Tesseract. So I wonder if I don't even need everything. We do have Lib Tesseract 5 DLL here. So yeah, maybe I just need these DLLs, and then again, just the .h files, which is my current belief assumption. So if I take a peek back at the repo here, well, what about building it? Yeah, I used msys2 to install it, and that worked. And then yeah, here's how you run it. Other languages, development. Okay, I don't think that's really gonna help me much. If I do building from source, that's funny. So this is the compilation guide. In step 1, they're just like, hey, just apt install it. Okay. Yeah, you need a compiler. You need, so autocomp, I think, or maybe automake. I think it's probably autocomp. I think that's the thing I actually need. So install a bunch of libraries, get those things. Look, Tonica I've installed. So installing it from Git. Let me take a look at that. The install instructions. But this is going to be like the... Okay, those two are probably what I actually need. Installing it elsewhere. So call autogen. So here's Tesseract on the library here. Is autogen available? Yes, they have an autogen. Okay, well, what is it? What's in autogen? License, blah, blah, blah. This is a simple script which is meant to help developers better deal with the GNU auto tools, specifically acloud, libtools, autoconf, autoheader, automake. The whole thing is quite complex. The idea is to run this collection of tools on a single platform, typically the main development platform, running a recent version of autoconf. In theory, however, the whole idea is to generate a configure script and associated files in a way that are portable across platforms. So we have to check in a whole bunch of files generated by all these tools. Basically, that's a long-winded way of saying it'd be nice if we didn't have to do this, if we could just build once and then just have the files somewhere, and it didn't matter if you're on Linux or Windows or Mac. Here's your files, and it just works. But there's so many differences between platforms, and I imagine there's probably even differences between versions of Windows and versions of OS X and versions of Linux, that unfortunately you have to run these yourself on your actual machine. And based on all the unique cocktail that makes up your system, it'll generate the right, .h files and other things to match what you need. The real source files are the AC include.m4, the main autocomp file, the make files, or makefile.am. I don't know what the .am is. Clean, remove, so doing some cleanup, bailout. Like I say, these are functions. Step, run. You might think, like, why even read any of this? Why not just run it? It's always good to just take a peek. One, you might learn something. And then two, on the off chance it's doing something fishy, I'd rather know about it sooner rather than later. So they're running automake, they're running autoheader, which I wonder if that's all I need. Yeah, see, generate config.h.in from. Now, I'm not going to just run that step. I probably could, but I'll run it all. And I'll run it all just in case like something else gets generated that I end up needing, that maybe there's some other tweak that's made to another .h file that's not a template.h file. Who knows? There's so many little things that could be different, and if you deviate from the path and try to roll your own custom thing, like step one, just follow the docs. Once you get things working, cool. Then you can go back, delete everything, try again, and just run the things that you think matter and go from there. Okay, so let's run autogen.sh, see what happens. Unable to find a copy of libtools on your path. Where did I run libtonica from? And I've been keeping track of notes for myself because this has gotten so complicated that I have to do this. So MingW 64 has been for scons, building and installing libtonica with VC package. So that was the window I just had in. Command prompt for running the Tesseract CLI, git bash for Vim, just because I enjoy it more, and then msys2. All right, so in theory, let me play around for a second. Go to Tesseract, and then we'll do AutoGen. Okay, so it doesn't have those there. Yeah, okay, so I just don't have them. Let's drag that out. So sys2 lib toolize. But this probably isn't the right thing. What if I just look up libtoolize? Libtoolize provides a standard way to add libtool support to your package. In the future, has the following synopsis. Okay, so this is just the how do I install it? Software package is libtool. Okay. So it's just libtool. So msys2 libtool. Not my sys, msys. Okay. How do you install things with msys again? Package management, how do I... Oh, Pac-Man, right. Right. So what is it? History, pipe, grep, Pac-Man. Okay. Okay, so Pacman-s lib. Well, I wonder what'll happen if I do libtoolize. Will it just install libtool or will it yell at me? Not found. Right. Now, what about glibtool? Ugh, I hate how you can't copy paste. Right. Control insert. Somebody, why can't I find these libraries? Well, because, you know, they're both part of libtool. Okay. Exactly. This is why I look it up. Because is it the same thing? Is it something else? I don't know. Proceed with installation. Sure. Let's do... Okay, that finished. Let's do a new window. And now if I do /auto a cloud, okay, so now we're like hidden. Now actually, if I run it again here, okay, so I didn't have to create a new window to have it pick up I don't know if like the path needed to be updated on the session, and you had to create a new session in order to get that update. So didn't need to. That's good to know. Nice. Cool. What's A Cloud? AC local, not A Cloud. AC local. Automake. How do I install AC local? Ugh, so annoying. Leave me alone. How to install Automake instead of AC local directly? Well, that's an old 2012 thing. Has anyone said anything recently? That's probably still the right advice, but let's go past year. I never trust super old advice. Oh, .m4 files, right. That makes sense. Install. Let's see. From GitHub directly? I don't love that. Especially not from a random website that I don't trust. Okay, fine. It's a Linux pack. I mean, it's like it's a package. That's probably an older one, so fine. Let me install Automake. That's probably going to be the right answer, but it's always good to see if that's still like the answer for the last year or so. Yes, let's install that. Okay. Are we going to hit the next branch on the tree? Awesome. Again with the copy pasting issues. I mean, I wonder if the docs had even said. Maybe they do. Can I... Oh. Must generate config scripts. So what did I install here? Automake and libtool. Known dependencies for training tools, excluding libtonica. So I might need these things. So the steps for making Tesseract are git clone. Yeah. But this doesn't tell me everything. What does this say? Autoconf tools. In order to do this, you must have automake, libtool, libtonica, make and package config installed. Git and C++ compiler. Libtool. Make and package config. Shift insert. There we are. Make and package conf. Okay. It's still complaining about automate. Was it control insert, I think? But I'd already searched for it. SourceForge. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I don't like this. How to install Automate? package cannot be found because it's called something else. Autoconf. I could have sworn I installed. Did I? Okay. Autoconf. That was one of the names I saw. All right. Now let's see where we end up. Getting further. Hey, look at that. So, what is it saying for the docs on how to fully build this thing? So it's saying do the auto gen, and then you configure, then you call make, then you do a make install, ld config, then you call training install. I'm not doing any of that though. In theory, all I need is auto gen. So now, all done to build the software now. Okay, so it said it was happy. Actually, if I scroll up. So it did call auto header, but it didn't output anything. So if I do ls include tesseract no vision.h. Whoa, never seen that before. Interesting. No changes at all. So it ran those things. Copying file. Copying file. Running. Huh. Well, what does configure say? Alias, set pod, okay, whatever. Pathing kind of stuff and okay. Bunch of functions that do things. All right, this is largely a huge ball of nonsense, but okay. Well, I'm not going to go troll through all that. Let's call it. Let's see what it does. Okay, now when I run git status in a separate window, I can see actually that it did generate. Interesting. It generated some files and then it deleted them. Try to install. Okay, so I pulled in Leptonica on my own. I thought I'd have to do that, but maybe it then makes sense. What's it again? Control insert. Control insert. Maybe it makes sense that it would take care of that for me. Shift insert, right? Yeah, okay. Learning the commands. I should remap that if I can. Why not? Let's roll with it. Not found. Well, that's disappointing. Let's do Pac-Man. The configure script uses package config to see if it's installed. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, I did. How did I use that again? Let me drag this over briefly. So I had built and installed with VC package. So it does exist already there. So oh, it's Leptonica. Where to find the lept.pc config file. Find here dash name. Do I have that? Cool, so I do have that. So what if I did this? Shift insert. And which one do I want? Not build trees, that seems bad. Installed. Packages, lib, package conf, package config. Yeah, that's probably the one. pwd. Okay. Control insert, shift insert, slash on that, and then let's grab this one. The favorite, most joyful part of getting any software running is all this BS. Okay, now if we run it again, speaking of, what did it say up here? Whether we are cross-compiling, no. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Major version 5, minor version 5, good. Okay. Didn't find it. Mine would not work until I did the following copy command. Yeah, which Leptonica do I have? Do I have this here? Leptonica dash version. How is Leptonica set up? I mean, I installed the latest, so. Also set the package config path. So you set a bunch of paths, and then it worked. This is really annoying. I mean, okay, do I need all this to work? Did build it though. Well, actually, that's a good point. For Leptonica, yeah. See, it still says I don't have the things I need, but I do know. What do we have? Because I successfully did this for Leptonica. Now I'm just trying to do it for Tesseract. So if I do ls star.h. So those are the .h's. But if I actually go to Leptonica's repo, didn't it have a bunch of .ins? H.in. Yeah, I remember. Indianness. Endian. So don't I have Endian dot ABCD ENV environ? Huh. So no, I don't have it. How did I find it then? Find here dash name. What's that called again? Here we go. Yeah, big Indian, little Indian. Indianness.h. Okay, so when I built it with so I cloned it locally into this directory, but then I used VC package to build it, and that's where it spit out that file. Forest for the trees here, the thing I care about is a single file, which I'm trying to generate. And it is called, who knows, maybe I accidentally built it already. Yeah. Let's see if I have a version. This actually might come back with too many things, but version.h. Version.h. Okay, so it found them all. Yeah, so whatever that library is, liblzma. Hey, Bear Like Lion came back. Sorry, I don't know how long this message was posted a while ago. I worked on this a bit, but I got stuck compiling Leptonica. Your mic's a little quiet, all right? Well, I'll talk up. Let me see if I can boost that a bit. Yeah, I mean, I got Leptonica built, but now, I mean, I think I've got Leptonica built. That was a pain, but I got that the other day. Now, the piece that I'm really just missing is, so when you build it, you'll have situations like you'll have these .h.in files, which is like a template of a .h file. And when you run something like autoconf on it, like or autogen.sh, it should take that template.h file and turn it into a proper .h file. So I did that for Leptonica, and that worked. So I got all the files. It seems like I've got all the DLLs and the .h files, including a couple of these templates, generated the way they need to be generated. And when I try to go build Tesseract, it seems happy with that. Now I just need to do it for this one file for Tesseract, and it doesn't want to play nice. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now is, can I get it to generate? So in theory, if I, where am I? All right. If I look in AutoGen, auto header. If I go look at auto header, so running auto header, if I run that, dash F. So if I just run this, will it generate the files that I need? Not // because it's not a script that's right here. It's just its own thing. So it did that. Now, no, nothing there. Okay. Maybe if I run it from source, maybe? No. No, that has everything. Include tesseract. What if I ran from there? Grasping straws a little bit. Yeah, okay, so there's no... okay. Okay. Let me see here. Just bring in chat over. That way it's easier to see if you reply to my last comment. Don't know if you're still there. Can't really tell. Gotta get better at streaming. Learning little by little. Let me see. Can I see... Yeah, you might be there. Maybe you're just away. Okay. So I'm still in this place where fine. Let me assume that I need to finish running these steps. So I can run autogen, and that'll succeed. And that can run configure, and it will not succeed. And it's going to complain about not finding libtonica. And if I... What does this conversation say? Leptonica. But tesseract configure error required. This is from 2019. Okay, so that's his error. I got the same error. If I run below, I do not get anything. Return no lept. So that's whatever that difference is. Interesting. Okay, so package config is a thing there. Okay. But I think I had figured that out. This will probably fail if I do up one directory. Right. So if I copy BC package, packages, Leptonica, lib. I could do a symbolic link as well, but let's just do it this way. User lib. Huh? How does that not work? Slash user slash lib slash package. Why is autocomplete not working? Not a directory. Oh. Okay, well. Let me do this down here. Let's drag that up. Okay. Lib lept.pc slash user lib. There we go. And then what happens if I look inside that? So annoying. What's happening? Okay. Yeesh. Okay. Prefix. Ooh, that might not be good. Libdir include dir. Ah, okay. So I gotta bring all that over. All right. Name version 185. Okay, so I do have a newer version of it. So maybe I can just pull the whole thing over. And that's all that's in the file. So it is expecting it to be 2 directories up to just be sitting there. So what else is in that directory? Okay, that's it. So I could do a copy on. Yes, that's the only thing there. And then lib would be .dll-a and go user. I'm going to do this slow just because I don't know. Okay, and then if I edit that again, PC file dir, so it's current directory up 2 directories is the prefix. So up 2 directories is going to be 1, 2. That's weird how it lost the history. Packages. Okay, so it wants the bin directory. I don't love that. Whatever. Let's YOLO. to the bin directory. Okay. Why not? /user bin, right? User bin. Right. So this is looking at bin for that, and then the lib directory, which we already did, and then the include directory for it. Okay. What is that? Include. And that's got a bunch of random stuff in it. So I could then do this. Yes, yes, yes. I knew you were going to complain about -r. Permission denied. No. Victor Leptonica. Leptonica. Okay. Oh, was I doing all the copying from here? Can't keep track of, like... Yeah, it's probably the include Leptonica. Ugh, I hate doing this, but oh no, that's fine. Because it's all going to be in a folder, so if I need to delete it later, it'll be easy. There we go. There. So that's all the paths that it's calling out here. And now if I close that, now if I run this, configure. Yeah, so the step 1 succeeded, which was autogen.sh now configure. And hopefully this is the last step I need to do. Maybe then I'll have .h files available. What is up? Okay, well, hold on. Maybe there's just... Hold on. History. Echo $. Ugh. Okay. So that's going to go look in. Lib package config. I mean, I could add on to it. But that's where it's saying I should put it instead of putting it in user lib. It's times like these I wish I had spent, instead of the past couple of years working in Linux, spent the last couple of years working in Windows, just so I understood how to do all this better, because I'm sure I'd probably have a better mental model for this by now. All right, let me take a breath for a second, think, and then act. It's going to be the same things. There's going to be a bin directory. It's going to be the same copy paste that I'd done. History pipe grep copy. Oh. Copy as in CP. History pipe grep CP. Okay. Let me just do this one more time for the heck of it. So I'm going to copy Control insert, Shift insert to /Ming W64. Yeah, /lib /package_conf. Let's do that. And then that's going to go to fine. And then these DLL is going to go there. And I'm going to do a make dir on that directory with include Leptonica. Sure. And then the last copy operation, I'll just do that again. I'm copying things all over the place. Include. Cool. Now I'm going to, well, I can just run this from here. cd test /configure. Now let's see. what it thinks. Well, it's running. Let me pull this over. Why? How do you not know? Got like so many windows open now, it's insane. /auto gen. Okay, so this isn't like people being crazy. This is kill that. This is people actually having issues with this. Okay. So I'm definitely not the only one, and I'm definitely running into a whatever that problem is everyone else is running into. All done. And then we do /. Whoa. No, I didn't ask for that. Configure. And this will fail. And so while that's failing, so that feels like bad advice. Can't just like override that entire path. That's never going to be the smart move. If we echo that though, shift insert. Ugh, no, it's going to be that. Okay. Echo $shift insert. Yay. Okay. So /ming w64 lib package config. And there's our lept PC. So it's on the path, and it should find it. I love how it says try installing that, but then you just can't. Copy commands. Yeah. Change that to nope. VC packages Laptonica. So you're saying that you've got some sort of like lib lept thing in lib. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I agree with that. Editing that, changing the version number as it was made installed from source. Create a symbolic link. Yeah, I thought about doing that. Oh. / user bin. Yeah, so I probably didn't install it correctly, but it is saying that it's there. But again, I don't think I need all this. I feel like I just need to generate a .h file, so I shouldn't have to have it installed in this way. I shouldn't have to be doing the whole configure. What if I do no. / help. What does this say? So I can do that. Contains one argument per line. Expanded at that point. Install a package. Upgrade. Install -- help. Does this say anything? Yeah, okay, this is saying something. Allow unsupported. Classic, clean, download root. Downloads root. History, pipe, clip. Yeah, I did an install of Leptonica, but it didn't really let me tell it where to install it. Why you do not use auto tools also for building Leptonica? Optional dependencies. Almost all programs that compile with .configure are not looking for the actual binaries of the program. The development libraries and header files, and not the binaries. Okay, that's probably the issue. So it's expecting I have a development build of it, which I didn't install initially when I installed it via VC package, I'm guessing. Install it as a package, not as like a dev build. Pacman --help. Operations. Help version database files query. Pacman-q. Laptonica. Okay, what if I did does not exist. Okay, so that's not something that it knows about. Pacman search package. Let's go for it. Shouldn't matter, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right. Now, maybe since I installed it that way, it'll just be available and it'll find it on its own in the right location, because probably just not finding it in the correct location, or the version that I installed wasn't the correct one that it was looking for. So I just didn't, I did the hacky thing of copying files around. Probably should have done that. So maybe if it's just available, it'll work. Okay. Still didn't find it. So good. Ming W. So if I go into Vim configure, I wonder if I see lept. Slept. Grep slept. Here we go. Checking for Leptonica C flags. Then if in else test in Test. What is test here? Shell test dash n. Test condition. Right, you didn't tell me shit. Okay. Is usually an other name in the command test. Just expecting a. You could actually write the two commands. And so test -e. Test and or shell commands. Yeah, what's test -n? This won't work, but I'm gonna run it anyway. Test -help. Ming W64 x86 64. Oh. Test. Really? Test command is to evaluate an expression, return a status code. Fine. Test expression. Test -f. -f -e. N. Okay. Test -n. The length of the string is non-zero. Got you. So in this case, okay, whatever. Let go, shift insert, not set. So if I do test -n, quote, shift insert, we're learning some shell commands while we play around. Now if we do the same thing, but we do it for PKG That's gonna fail. Echo dollar. This is also gonna fail. And that's because okay. So Lepton. Let's just go to Lepton. Okay. This is all here, and then I am okay, so this is the main method where all this matters. I could do, let me just do this. Printf. What if I just did that? And now I ran it again. In theory, it should print it out right above the checking for lept. And then I can just see like what are the values, because it's, I don't know, I think it's building those paths internally to itself. So I could like figure out like what these would be on the actual terminal, but it's not going to tell me anything. Not really. I need to see what it is actually looking like, and then I can check those paths for myself and then go from there. So blank end. So it's looking for slash Ming 64 bin. Odd. Found these. Slash n slash n slash n slash n. I mean, I believe that's correct, but it does seem like that folder is just not a folder. But that was also a weird character it had at the end there, so what's with that character? Here we go. Right. So that was just a weird character. Okay, so... So there's no directory there. What about Bing W64 include? So it is there. Interesting. Okay, what if I just do make dir? Config. And then I could copy squiggle slash. Sorry, dev. Packages. Leptonica. I think it's lib. There we go. Slash main W64 bin. This is super hacky. Okay, and then yep, it's there. Now if I run configure, it's interesting that it's not showing up as a change, even though I know I'm messing with their configure file. Why is git status not working? Is it in the ignore file? It still failed. Whoa. It changed on me. It wasn't this way before. Okay. To get like the history thing working there, because that's really annoying. I should be able to do CP and then just hit the up arrow and get the last command that used that. Okay, user bin. Now run .configure. Okay, I'm gonna play whack-a-mole until it finds the damn file wherever it somehow magically detects that it's supposed to live. I am definitely doing this in the hackiest, worst way possible, but I just taking a step back and trying to figure out the right way to do it doesn't seem fun to me. Let's see. Whoa, checking for package config, no. Okay. History, pipe, rep. Don't love that. So I'm going to do remove -rf user bin. Yeah. I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to also do it to since I created those folders purely for this purpose. And I'll run that again. So yeah, that was ugly to do, and I probably shouldn't have done it. So I probably need to take a step back, clear my head, go read some of this stuff on other people getting this error. It feels like somebody's missing something basic here. Like there shouldn't be, like, one, why can't I install Libtonica Dev as a package using Pacman? And then two, yeah, see now it's back to, yeah, checking for, so it found that, and that one's probably pointing to something else. Speaking of, yeah, let me do, like everyone's running into the same issue. I really just don't want to be wasting my time on this nonsense. Yeah, why? This is what I wanted to search. Liblip, why is this not? But see, I did install it. So /ming 64 bin. No. So it has package config as a .exe. But maybe that's right. Maybe that's what it's supposed to find and not find a directory. I don't know. Pacman update. Pacman, Pacman. Man is not a thing in here. Okay, fine, whatever. Pacman dash help. Upgrade. Pacman dash U. Okay, well, can't you update yourself? Root, verbose. Why is this such a pain? Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing before taking a break and really just stepping away from this for a bit. So my question is, how do I generate the .h files? Can I just do that? If I do generate.h from .h.in, because that's all I need. You'll be running a shell script, which eventually runs M4 to detect the presence of a whole bunch of different system attributes. God damn it. Okay, so I don't want to cheat. Really, it just means I need to get this configure command. It is, so it wasn't just autogen. It was configure is the thing I need to actually, if I could just finish that command, it'll work. It'll do what I needed to do. And then back to what I was doing. Okay, so it's going off of package config then. So if I do vim configure and I go back to Lepton, next. Here we are. So here's the print statement I added. In fact, I'll just put udis here. That way I can easily search to this line next time and I have to click through. So we don't have the Leptonica C flags, which, to be fair, So if it was there, then we would say that. Otherwise, we check to see if we've got a package config, which it does. And then it tests it again for some reason, and printf new line as me line number exists print errors. So we run it. Interesting. Okay. You know what? I think I'm onto something here. Okay, so when I ran it last time, so it did find this. So it wants to run it again. Dash dash exists dash dash print errors. .74. It's probably not the dot slash. Right. Control insert, shift insert. Unknown option. Print errors. Oh. Dash dash print errors. And then got weird indent here. Dash dash help. Okay, so we can run it. Print required linker flags to standard out. Can I just list? Is there what? Help version errors. List all. Fine. List dash all. Let. It has let. It knows about let. Okay. Let dash dash help. Usage, package options, basic options, version. 2.3. Or is that 2.3? Yeah, that's not what I want. That's the basic option for the system level package conf. But what I want is cross compilation personality support. Okay. Checking specific package config database entries. Exact version, max version. If it exists. So funny. So it should. But it doesn't say. It. This is ridiculous. So it has it right there. But it doesn't. Why does it list it twice? Okay, so it says it has it. But dash dash exists doesn't return anything. Dash dash C flags. Interesting. So maybe I somehow succeeded at making it available, but I didn't bring over everything. So what does this mean? libpng, lib, open, libwebp, tiff. So I installed it. Okay. Ming W64 link VCPKG. Specifying library locations by hand shouldn't be required. Yeah. The problem is somewhere else. This error. Oh, this is for VC package. The host triplet. I feel like I'm really close to amazing. Hmm. Leptonica. I've now officially like memorized this library. Oh, I should probably. Remove? Fine. Okay. What about... Because now I'm actually... The following package will be built and installed for MingW. Okay. That was fast. That was much faster than when I installed it without that setting. This is the closest I'm getting to actually getting things working. Maybe. No matter what happens here, I'll probably stop here. Been such a bear and a pain getting this to work. And I've always felt like, it's always you feel like you're one step away, and you probably are. And if you can just figure out the one little command to get things working, it doesn't find it. Yeah, it's something like this probably. If I'm installing it via VC package. Or, yeah, how do I install? Leptonica Ming W64. Yeah. So if I remove it, and I think I created that manually. Remove minus RF Ming W64. This is what happens when you manually copy things in. Remove 64 lib leptonica And then, yeah, because I think I added all these myself. Lib. Left. Okay. Now let's try that. Perfect. Now, yeah, and that's the problem with you know, you go to the library itself and you go to its docs and it says, yeah, you know, install it with VC package. That's how you get it. But then you're trying to use a different tool, it's a different environment, different things, and it's like, okay, but now like it installed it but in a different place, in a different way than what this other library was expecting to find it. And sometimes you can just copy it over or create a link, a symbolic link, or, you know, do something else and it'll find it, but sometimes not. And this is one of those scenarios where, yeah, I guess assuming this works, this might not work. Assuming this works, yeah, I mean, installing it with Pac-Man, if that works, and it's the right, and at least it's, if it's a new enough version, hopefully it is. 185, yeah, actually, so it should be the newest version. Then, oh yes, it did work. It worked. Okay, so I should have never used VC package, which, you know, that's the lesson learned. You know, you go to the docs, and the docs will tell you, where is it? Yeah, here's the root of the project, and it's going to say, hey, all you need to get this thing is to just clone it, and then, you know, you should use VC package to install this thing. And sometimes that's smart, but sometimes, like, and that would have got me the library, but it didn't put it in the right place. It didn't put it where Tesseract was expecting it. And so Tesseract, when it's doing its build, it's expecting it to find it in a certain place. Since I'm using, you know, I'm using, what is this called again? MingW64. So since I'm using MingW64 as part of my build, it's going to use that environment to try to find things. And since it couldn't find them, then it just can't find it. So checking for lept, it found lept, and it says yes here. You can see, like, this is my little line because I was trying to see, like, hey, what were these two environment variables set to? One of them was set to blank, the other one was using this package config. Okay, so when this script is running, it's using MingW64 to try to find the library lept. The library lept exists, but it exists somewhere else in the system in a different place. And so instead, now I needed to install it using MingW. Like, how does MingW64 expect to be installed? And that's where I found, where was it? Probably, yeah, just Pac-Man install. Okay, so it is available as Leptonica in its own place using Pac-Man. Okay. Installing it that way means now it's available for MingW64's package manager to find it. Now it found it. Now everything runs. Amazing. Taking a breath for a second. Okay, so that finished. Now, what do we got? I think I have the file still open, right? Is that it? Yeah. Well, I don't need this anymore. So the question is, oh yeah, so find here dash name, was it version.h? Hey, look at that. I actually have a version.h file now. Okay. It's still kind of odd that, I mean, I cloned the repo, but it's not showing me that I touched any files or that a file is new. I wonder if it's like the git ignore. And git ignore. It's probably ignoring the entire directory. It's probably what it's doing. Yeah, it's fine. So now what I can do is I can copy, include tesseract star.h. Let's do that. And we'll go up a directory, go into reading room, source, tesseract. Yeah. Yeah, let me do that. And now, just drag all this over. Amazing if this is like the victory moment for this. Now we have a version.h there. So now I've lost track of which window I'm running things from. It's probably this one here, right? So now we shouldn't get that version.h error anymore because we properly built the file now, which is the thing I've been trying to do for like 2 hours. Okay, so now we're back to literally the exact same error I got before. So now I'm gonna just kill all this stuff. And while I'm at it, let me come back here to my notes. Let me do building tesseract and Leptonica. Leptonica is simple enough. Clone the repo and run. What do they have? I think it was and run their install command to actually was simple enough. I don't remember exactly what I did, but I did generate .h files from .h.in and copied over .h and .dll files to src / Leptonica. For tesseract, then you can follow their docs for running. Used to Vim. Follow their docs to clone the repo and run /auto gen.sh. No, I didn't ask you for autocomplete. This is a .notes file. Why would you be doing any autocomplete? Anyway, I hate VS Code. Configure. And, why am I taking all these notes? Because history has told me sometime in the future, 6 months from now, I'm going to have to go redo all this again, and I'm not going to remember any of it, and I'm going to have to go re-go through this entire process, and I might as well have some sort of semblance of notes. So I lost the thread here. There we go. Okay. So, compiling OCR.cpp, creating the linking the library. So we're running it. It runs undefined reference. Okay, I think I know. I know what I need to do for this. In many ways, I think this is a simpler problem. So I think the core issue is cannot open source file. Amazing. Yeah, see, look, it's proper 5.5.5, 5.5.0, version string. It built this file properly. Oh, see, now it likes it. Okay. Let me just run this one more time. I don't think this is still going to fail because that's just VS Code figuring it out. But the problem I think here is I believe when I've seen this before, I think what this means is scans when it's building, like my library, I need some way of telling it, either in register types or somewhere else, where to find this library. Like it's finding the .h, but maybe it's not finding the .dlls, maybe. And I think there's some sort of setting here where you have to define what the paths to these things are. And then it'll be able to, it's failing here. It's like, I don't know what tesseract is. And it should be getting it from this .h file. And maybe it is? I'll look this error up. Undefined reference to. I'll bet you anything that's... I'm going to pause here, stop here, and go eat lunch. But I'll bet you if I search this up, my guess is either scans needs something else, because I think, in VS Code, I'm telling it where to find things using these paths. But scans doesn't have that. So ideally I would do it in code, because I don't want to just export some magic environment variable and have it work here but not be reproducible in the future. So ideally there would be a way for me to in code say, yes, here is the .h file. By the way, the library also lives in this path. Here's where the other resources are that it has. Ideally, I don't know. It would be nice. I suspect I'm doing this incorrectly. It would be nice to, hey, just drop the DLLs here, drop test data. Everything works. It's got the library. I can commit it to the code base. It's there permanently. I could run it on another machine and be reproducible. There's a chance, though, that I need to tell it where I actually, built or deployed tesseract to, where it's actually installed to. where did I get those DLLs from? Because I might need other things from there, or maybe I have to like literally install Tesseract in this folder, which I wouldn't love. So we'll see. But I get the feeling it's something along those lines of, close, but it just needs to know the path to where to find things. And once it has that path, then it should finish these steps, and then I should be on to actually building the thing that I want to be building. But all right, if anybody hung with me, thank you for hanging with me. Bear Like Lion, thank you for checking in, and I will talk to you soon.